So let's say then that prioritizing backup over restore entirely is not your ultimate goal. Let's say that you may want to prioritize backups, but you may also want to prioritize restores so that it doesn't take forever for a virtual machine to completely restore. For that, we have our second option here with forward incremental backup, where again, we start on Sunday with a full backup and we continue then through Monday all the way through Saturday with incremental backups. As you might see, this looks exactly like forever forward incremental backup. And when we see it there in the interface, when we start actually configuring jobs, you'll see how similar these are to configure. What's majorly different here is that with a forward incremental backup, there's a checkbox that we will select to also configure other full backups to occur from time to time. And so this is my example here. I do a full backup on Sunday and I configure another full backup there on Thursday. Again, we don't want to do this too often because the creation of that full backup requires copying the entire virtual disk file from its source location there into the repository. And so these forward incremental backups are great because you can then restore, but sometimes the processes involved with creating additional full backups can be a problem. Now, earlier we were talking about ReFS and this whole idea of fast clone as an option that Veeam can support. These backups, using today's versions of Veeam, do not necessarily need to actually occur in a transfer from the source virtual machine here to the repository. Now, bear with me here. This is this whole concept of synthetic backups that we were talking about before. With a synthetic backup, rather than again copying the entire contents of that virtual machine back over here onto storage, we instead synthesize those contents from the original full backup, all the additional incremental backups that have occurred, and then whatever is changed here today on Thursday. And so this synthetic backup, because it just involves pointers on disk, that whole functionality we get with ReFS, enables us to create what would be our full backup, but just from the contents of the other backups. Obviously, I still have to have those other backups to create them this content because it is just pointers, but this enables me to create more full backups without actually creating more full backups. Now, whether or not I'm using a synthetic backup or not, the restore process that I get with forward incremental backup is probably going to be a bit better for restoring entire virtual machines than what I would get with forever forward incremental backup. If I have to restore machines, for example, from Thursday, well, I can restore directly from that synthetic or full backup. And if I need to restore from some previous time, like Tuesday, for example, I don't have to go that far forward in my incrementals to generate that day's representation of that virtual machine. And so what we get with forward incremental backup, and particularly so with synthetic backups, is less of a prioritization on one or the other, but a bit more of a balance between optimizing backups and also optimizing restores.